That, of course, is the debt ceiling and a looming apparent deal here. Kevin McCarthy says it's going to be on the floor next week. Then it becomes a question of passage, of course, Senator, and it appears he will need some Democratic votes. Can you tell our listeners and viewers, where are your red lines on this?
Well, first, one thing to remember is I'm proud to be the independent Senate from Arizona, and so I'm happy to join you all today. I actually don't tend to talk in terms of red lines, and in fact, I think that when folks come around and start talking about red lines, that's how you tend to not get to a deal. So what we've got to do is really focus on coming together to find areas of shared agreement. The default, the possibility of default, is a threat to every single one of us in this nation, regardless of whether they're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent. So our goal here has to be about solving the challenge and doing it together. Now, if you ask me about what should I think we do about the debt limit and default, the bottom line is that both political parties are guilty of playing fire when it comes to the debt limit. When either party is in the minority, they demand requirements from the other party in order to get to a deal. And unfortunately, that's been happening for years, and it's a mistake, it's wrong. We should never play with fire when it comes to the full faith and credit of the United States of America. Now, here we are today.
We know that you have had a long history of relationships with some of the key players in these negotiations, a long working relationship with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, with Steve Ricchetti, who is negotiating on the side of the White House, as well as the OMB Director, Shalonda Young. So what are you telling them directly? How have you been involved in these conversations?
Well, the good news is that we've now got the right people in the room to have the conversation and come to an agreement. And I am beginning to feel more and more confident each day that such an agreement will occur. We've got some really good news here. One is that Kevin McCarthy has said over and over he doesn't want to have a default. His folks are in the room negotiating to prevent a default and solve this challenge. Steve Ricchetti and I have negotiated many a deal together in the past several years, and he's a good voice for the president. And Shalonda Young, she's the smartest person in the building. She knows the budget and appropriations inside out. So with those folks at the table, I feel confident that they're going to come to an agreement and that we'll be able to stave off default and get back to the business of governing our country.